Hey guys, it's Captain S'mores, here with a video on how Wargaming should fix World of Tanks Heat. This game launched with what you would think of as obvious features missing, plus the bad marketing decision of naming the game after World of Tanks despite being completely different. They kinda gave us a flop of a game because although it was being beta and alpha tested for around 2 to 3 years, Heat just still didn't seem like a completed game. I feel like Wargaming made this game and they owe it to us, their players, to fix it. I played in the beta and the alpha, and it was objectively more fun to play when all of the tanks were unlocked from the start just for the variety of gameplay. Even though most people think that this game is already dead, in my personal opinion, it could be revived. The player base was just given a bad first impression about the game at launch because of the stagnant games with a lack of variety. I think players just need interesting content and quality of life improvements, and they could start to return just after a couple of simple updates. So after playing the alpha, beta, and finished game myself, here are my 5 ways that Wargaming could fix World of Tanks Heat, not just as a video, but a letter to Wargaming. Communication. One of the most important aspects of an online multiplayer game is the communication. This is completely lacking in World of Tanks Heat. You can't type anything in chat during the game, so it is impossible to tell your team anything even if it is simple. You also can't talk to platoon members using in-game chat. You have to link the game to Discord, which seems absolutely ridiculous, being that basically every other game has this feature. It's just one more annoyance the players must deal with just to say anything to your team or friends through the game. I'm actually amazed that this game doesn't even have a platoon chat like the original World of Tanks. Wargaming should add an in-game bar chat just like World of Tanks. This will, of course, lead to ragers in the chat, but it's better than not having one at all. Not having any chat feels like an attempt to be extra safe that just makes everything worse. Next, they need to make a real platoon chat that allows platoon members to have a conversation and actually encourages multiplayer with friends. This will make it much easier for people to take advantage of a cross-platform game and actually give more interest to a broader audience. Characters and voiceovers. Something I almost immediately notice is the tank commander voiceovers. They frankly just stink. Having an enemy that just killed you say some sassy little quip just makes me annoyed and frustrated. I don't know about you, but hearing this after being sniped at 18 HP just feels like Wargaming is trying to add character, makes it seem more like your tank commander is a brat, not someone you'd have an emotional connection like with a movie character or something. I know this issue might seem like I'm just complaining, but the voiceovers aren't necessary and take away from the game rather than add to it in most situations. If you find yourself turning a feature off, that probably doesn't need to be in the game.
That feature's dropped.
The best way to fix this is just by getting rid of it. Maybe add something else when you're destroyed to entertain instead of annoy you. If they wanted to, they could also just re-record the voiceovers with less annoying, better scripted voiceovers that actually seem like they're created by someone that speaks good English. The chat I would add would already give players a chance to yell at you, and their wisecracking tank commanders won't need to make any snarky remarks anymore. Balancing. This game is at its core a fast-paced hero shooter. This means that you have abilities and super abilities. I have a particular issue with super abilities. They're completely unbalanced, with Bruiser doing just 70-something damage a second, with his super as some sort of space laser, while Kent can do 1500 damage to 3 tanks in a span of 10 seconds. Passive abilities are also unbalanced, with one in particular not really doing anything at all. With Reaper, the passive is protects the vehicle from being destroyed with a single shot provided it has sufficient HP. When is this actually even useful, and does it do anything at all? And then you have the sniper tanks. I know they're supposed to be weak, but they can be 2-shot in the ammo. Twister can, with the HSTVL specifically, do damage like a tank destroyer while going near 100 kilometers an hour. Really, the only way to fix this is by doing some more player testing and finding what is the most overpowered. Normal World of Tanks has this issue, but I feel it is inexcusable for a game that went through so much pre-release testing. Releasing the M55-1A1 in its current state after its nerfs is basically criminal after they destroyed its stats to the point where no one even plays it. They should actually listen to players and balance the tanks so each is fun in its own unique way. Progression. This game has the exact opposite of progression. It could take up to a week of play, making only 5k credits per match when each tank takes 200,000 to purchase. This seems very long, especially for casual players, which is one of the main contributors for why this game died so fast. The lack of credit boosters it gives you is also an issue. The only way to get them is through the battle pass after you use your original 3. This makes credit grinding extremely difficult for players that do not spend hours just to get a couple of credit boosters out of the pass. Not even a couple. In this season you only get one credit booster, which takes about 5,000 battle pass points to unlock. The upgrade side of this game is also very hard to deal with due to how long it takes to work up the upgrade points to fully upgrade a vehicle. It takes 900 upgrade points to put basic equipment on a vehicle, which is several days worth of play out of the 17 tanks in the game. This, of course, can all be made much easier for players if they spend real money on the game. There weren't supposed to be pay-to-win elements to the game, but there definitely are. You can straight up buy your way through the battle pass and collect all the credits and tanks in it. That means you could get 3 free tanks right off the bat, not including any other tanks you could spend money to buy. This leads to monetization where players can buy their way to the best tanks while other players have to grind up to them. What I would tell Wargaming is to put as much cosmetics in the game as they want, but to leave progression alone when it comes to this game. Progression is already hard enough without other players buying the best tanks with real money, leaving free-to-play players in the dust. They need to add more boosters to make it actually enjoyable to play without dropping $50 on the game. This is classic Wargaming, just wanting to make an extra buck off of their players, and really what everyone has expected though. Competitions. This is the only shooter game I've heard of with no real competitive mode or ranking system. I would actually support a Fortnite-style ranking system with levels and rewards you get for achieving them. They could even host tournaments where players that have the best scores could get new release tanks or rewards. This would make players return to play for a new tank and encourage a higher level of play, even creating esports opportunities. This could work as players with similar level of skill playing against each other, which would make the game more challenging and fun rather than getting in a match where you're crushed or obliterate the other team. They could even give you missions that would make you extra credits from playing the ranked system. I would love to see this game in esports and seems like it has a great potential, but Wargaming just fails to capitalize on it. I guess this is the end of my rant, so thank you all for watching, and I hope you liked the video. There are more things to come, and I hope you consider subscribing.